Today I am going to cover various quality or quality management system audits. The contents here are very useful for all the quality practitioners, for all the candidates who would like to attend interviews, those who would like to write ASQ certification exams and project management professional exams. Hi, this is Jagdish Kumar, Master Black Belt 6 Sigma, ASQ certified quality practitioner and lead auditor ISO doing this presentation. Let us remember a common baseline standard to refer by every auditor is ISO 19011. What is an audit? How an audit has to be done? What are the qualities of an auditor? How he should behave during the audit? How he should conduct the audit? Opening meeting to closing meeting, all are in detail covered in ISO 19011. So anybody who is interested in doing the auditor job or who is an auditor and who wants to be more professional may refer to ISO 19011. Now let us try to understand what is an audit. Audit is a structured process because audit is done as per a chosen standard, be it ISO 9001 or 14001. So it is done as per the standard. That's why it is a structured process. There is structure for conducting the audit also, like planning, then opening meeting, ends up with the closing meeting and so on. So auditing is a structured periodic process. Periodic means it has to happen at particular period, say once in 6 months. Doesn't mean it should be the same everywhere within the organization. Where the critical processes are there, the audits can be more frequent, like once in 3 months, say the internal audits, but it should be periodic. A structured periodic process to identify the extent of conformance, not extent of non-conformance, extent of conformance to the standard which is chosen. And through objective evidences. There should be an objective evidence during the closing meeting to present this is the particular case, and that is why I am making this observation. Now, conformance to the standard is verified, not non-conformance, because many people go with a policing mind, which is not correct. It is not to find fault, it is to see the extent of implementation and then give the suggestions for improvement. Who is an auditor? An organization undergoing the audit is called as an auditee. There are 3 agencies. Client is an agency that liaises between the auditor and the auditee. Auditor can be a certification body and the auditee can be an organization undergoing the audit. So client has a liaising role between the two. Whereas auditors are those personnel from the certifying body who perform the audit, and they may be from the same organization but from an independent area if it is an internal audit, but auditors perform the audit. Now there are various types of audits. We start with the product audit. What do we do in product audit? For example, customer wants to check whether product which is very critical has been manufactured in the company the way they expect or in the way it has to be done or not. They visit the organization and they start auditing, focusing on the product on sampling basis. Of course, they pick a sample of the product. So point number 1, inspecting a sample product to ensure its full compliance to all the requirements. This becomes a product audit. Even the personnel from the same organization also can do this internal product audit. So including critical requirements, this is very, very important. Compliance of the product to all requirements of manufacturing, like dust-free environment, requirements of process control like 120 degrees centigrade to be maintained, and so on. Then comes the process audit. Process audit is not done for every process. It is done only for those critical processes where the output actually is not meeting the requirement or there is a risk to achieve the correct output. So point number 1, examining a critical process to determine whether the resources, what are the resources for a process, the input materials, the good condition of the machine being ensured through maintenance, the good consumable supply, and the environment, the resources, activities, and the reasons that create the acceptable outputs. This is a textbook definition. Now, what do we mean by reasons? We know if we are manufacturing, for example, integrated circuits, ICs, the environment in which the ICs are to be manufactured should be dust free. Now we know it should be dust free, whether it is really maintained to the extent required in a dust free way, so that the quality of the ICs are maintained or retained. This is called as the reason, special reasons. They also have to be complied with. Or I may have to manufacture an item for exporting to European bloc, and it has to fully comply with RoHS, restriction on hazardous substance. That means I cannot use a lead solder for soldering. This is ensured or not can be a one more confirmation. Example, these are being managed efficiently. Dust free means it should be within the dust level acceptable and effectively. So process audit is auditing only critical processes to see whether the resources, activities, and reasons that have to be adhere to make the good product have been managed efficiently or effectively. This also generally done by customers. System audit. As I can say, ISO audit is a system audit. It is a systematic and an independent examination to determine whether the functional activities, means there are various functions, say HR activity, finance activity, manufacturing activity, testing activity, customer service activity, marketing activity, and so on. Whether the functional activities and the related results, these processes have their interrelationships, and combined together seamlessly, they should align with one another and deliver the maximum for the organization. Whether this is really happening or not, whether the system has been improved to ensure the planned arrangements are achieved or not. For example, whether the system has geared up to ensure successful implementation of ISO. Planned arrangement can be successful implementation of ISO in my organization, whether it has been done or not. Whether planned arrangements are suitable, whether I have taken the right standard to implement. If I am doing aviation business, space business, or defense business, maybe for me Aerospace 9100 standard may be a better QMS to follow than ISO 9001. Have I chosen the right planned arrangement to implement and see that my system is seamlessly integrated and effectively delivering the objective of the organization. So this is verified through system audit. So system audit looks at all the functional processes, their interrelationships, they're combining together to deliver the planned arrangement, like full implementation of quality management system as per ISO or AS, and whether these planned arrangements are suitable and effectively implemented to meet the objective of the organization. This is an example of system audit. Again, this can be done by certifying body, this can be done by internal audit or by customers. There is what is called as Tqm audit, which is also periodically done, say by corporate quality or an organization central to the complete company. It is an independent examination of functional or business processes. What is a functional process or a business process? The way we do the business, the way we deliver the output. For example, some companies may have production control as a department, some companies may have only production planning as their department. So these functional processes, like as I explained, HR, finance, materials management, production, testing, customer servicing, marketing, all these are functional processes in an organization. Whether they are effectively and seamlessly integrated or not. Almost same thing is done in system audit also, as you can see. And their capability to provide continuous and enhanced customer satisfaction. The objective of TQM is to ensure continued, sustained and enhanced customer satisfaction. One more parameter for TQM is involvement of all the personnel, right from the lowest level to the highest level, say the CEO, and involvement by all the functional processes like manufacturing, materials management, whatever we discussed. Now let us have some more details on QMS audit called the first party audit. Audit by the employees of the same organization but from another independent area is called as first party audit or the internal audit. There the employee of the same company does the audit for conformance, but the auditor is from an independent area, not belonging to the same particular department which is undergoing the audit. There is what is called as second party audit. Second party audit is generally done by the customer on the supplier or by the legal body on the organization where they would like to do the audit because they might have found some non-conformances successively happening here and there. So audit by customer to my place when I am the supplier to them, and audit by the legal bodies is called as second party audit. Third party audit is by an independent audit agency, say the certification agency, or there can be an organization hired by my customer. For example, we were doing business for GE Medical System. They hired one person in Mumbai, one agency in Mumbai who came and audited us whether we are compliant to the international standard like ISO or not. These people become the third parties and their audit becomes the third party audit. Compliance audit is the word used when you are looking for an audit based on legal compliance, regulatory compliance, or safety. It's called as compliance audit. Quality management system audits are called as conformance audits. Now, as we undergo the process of certifications, the process starts like this. If there is a client in the organization, say corporate quality, they identify the certifying body, and the organization which wants to have the certification will start preparing the policy documents, manuals, documents, and so on, and they start implementing in their functional areas. As they do this, the certification body will do one audit which is called as the stage 1 audit. So this is the audit by a certification body once the auditee declares readiness to face a certification audit, that is ISO or AS. The organization is not yet certified. Please remember, they have declared their readiness, that they have implemented the standards requirements and they are ready to face the audit. Primarily this audit is done on adequacy of documentation. When the certification agencies come for audit, generally they only focus on the document, its adequacy and so on. They do not come to the work areas and try to check the implementation in stage 1 audit. Now after you complete the stage 1 audit and close all the non-conformances, again you may have to request the certification body to come and do the audit, which is called as stage 2 audit. Even now you have not been certified. Audit by the certification body to examine adequate implementation. Stage 1 was on documentation. Now they go to the real action areas or work areas and they check the implementation of a standard and its requirements. This audit covers all the clauses of the standard. Please remember, stage 2 audit should cover all the 10 clauses of the standard, say if they are auditing as per ISO 9001. Now, certification audit is the audit by the certification body before recommending ISO or aerospace standard certification, which are one and the same. AS is a bigger set of ISO, which covers again all the clauses of the standard. Certification audit is when the audit happens. If the audit is successful, certification or award of ISO certificate is recommended by the auditing agency to the organization which has been audited. Many times the stage 2 audit and certification audits are combined by the auditors. It is a good practice. Next comes the surveillance audit. We know once the certification audit or stage 2 audit happens and certification has been recommended, the certificate has only 3-year validity. In between, it is the requirement from the certification body to periodically come and verify that the requirements of the standards are sustained and maintained in the organization that has been awarded the ISO certificate. That is done through surveillance audit. Generally, this happens once in a year. That means there will be one audit, surveillance audit after 1 year of certification. There will be one more surveillance audit after 2 years of certification with a gap of 1 year again. And finally, the audit that happens in the 3rd year becomes the recertification audit. Now, periodic audit by the certification body on sampling basis. When they come for surveillance audit, they may not check all the requirements. They may check the requirements fulfillment by picking up some sample clauses and then doing the audit. Recertification audit happens at the end of the 3rd year when the validity is about to expire for the awarded certificate. It is audited by the certification body at the end of 3-year validity, just before recommending continuation of certification. And again, if the certification is done, it is valid for further 3 years. Again, remember, recertification audit covers all the clauses of the standard. Say in ISO, clause number 4 to clause number 10. All the requirements given in the main clauses are actually audited during recertification audit, whereas it is done only on sampling basis in a surveillance audit. There is one more called as integrated audit. This is the great takeaway from a 2015 version of ISO, wherein I may be auditing one auditee department or auditee company that has 3 certifications, say ISO 9001 for quality management system, ISO 14001 for environment, ISO 27001 for information security. Now, since the structure of the standard is standardized into 10 clauses and wherein the requirements are in clause number 4 to 10 and they are one and the same for all the different standards. If I am a lead auditor certified for all the 3, which I am, I go sit in the auditee company and do simultaneously audit for all the 3 standards, which is highly economical, highly productive in terms of logistics and other arrangements. This is called as an integrated audit. The possibility has happened only because of standardizing the standards. That is, 2015 version of the standard has ensured this. With this, I take this opportunity to request you once again, if you have not subscribed to my channel, to please subscribe. Please press the bell icon so that my future presentations also reach to you and you get the notifications so that you can watch them and benefit. Also, please press the thumbs up symbol if you have liked this simple presentation of several types of audits that are conducted in quality or quality management system, which many of the people had a lot of doubts. I think I succeeded in clearing most of the doubts. If you have further clarifications required, please go through this presentation a few more times. You will be very clear about these concepts. Thank you so much for watching and encouraging us.